Today we've got questions on Poland, Lithuania, South Korea, and Charles answers on how California would react to the federal government passing a law banning abortion. Welcome to another episode of Off the Menu. I'm your host, Vincent Franchini from Tumblr House, here with a bicontinental Charles Kulo.
Bicontinental?
Yeah, you're leaving us. You're
living on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll get back again. Actually, I do. I'll be back December 15th. But I'm back to Europa this very evening. So this is it. And you won't see me next weekend because I'll be buried in the wilds of Denmark.
Denmark. What's Denmark like?
Lovely. In fact, one of their national anthems, they have two, starts out, "There is a lovely land." And it's very true. It's a small country, and it's a number of islands. The big peninsula that's got most of the country is called Jutland. But the capital is on an island called Zealand.
Are there different cultures, or there's sort of a segmentation based on islands? Like, oh, that guy's from that island, they're like this.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, it's not radically different, but it's different. And the Danes they're fun people.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm going for the Danish Latin Mass men's retreat.
Yeah.
Which will feature this year a Swedish contingent. And I'll be giving a talk on the Catholic vocation of Scandinavia. So there.
All right. What's Danish cuisine like?
Plain, but good. You know,
That's good. I like
pea
plain.
soup,
Yeah.
thick chunks of ham.
Yeah.
Lots of ham.
It's hard to go wrong with that.
Ham and dairy products.
Ham and dairy products. How could you go
And
wrong?
potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes. Absolutely. Let's do it. Sign me up.
Oh, sign up. Okay. A Danish burrito. That'd be something really weird. Probably wrapped in cheese, you know. No, but the food is good, and the Danes are fun people. They're very much into contentment.
Beautiful. I wish we all would be into contentment.
Well, I do too.
Yeah.
But
what do you mean by that, though?
Well, they like to get together with friends and family and hang out. I forget the word. There's a single word for it in Danish, but it's the feeling of well-being that comes from being in familiar surroundings with familiar people. And that's something they all aspire toward constantly.
Really? That's beautiful. I wish the world was like that.
It's not.
I don't think so.
Southern California is like that.
Southern California is the antithesis of that.
The White House is like that.
Oh, the house that slavery built?
Wow.
Gotcha.
Debbie Downer just jumps out.
Sorry, I summoned my inner Michelle Obama.
Yeah, I guess you did. Gosh. The house that slavery built. You know, when she would say that, oh, it's horrible, I have to go to bed every night in a house that's like, you know what, lady? Take your kids and move into an apartment in the Southeast. That's what you should do. That way your little mouth wouldn't have to whine. Going to be in a house that slavery built. I mean, imagine that I was elected president, right? And I said, every night I have to go to bed in a house that was built by Anglos, for Anglos. I hope you would say, you know what? Really? Is it that much of a problem for you, Mr. President? Why don't you jump out into the East Room, out of the East Wing, you know? Mental midgets and the men who love them. Anyway, just think, this is September. We are doing this on the Feast of the Holy Cross, the Exaltation of the Holy Cross, Holy
Beautiful.
Cross and Harvest.
Love it.
And that's not all. You know, it's coming in just a couple of weeks.
Halloween? No, sorry.
Well, yes, Halloween is coming. That's true. And Christmas and New Year's.
St. Michael's?
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to trigger you. I just thought Well, I'll go there since the rest of the world is. That's what they would answer. So why not? I want to be one with the people.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah.
All right, sing me a Halloween song.
A Halloween song?
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't know a Halloween song. I mean, Disney's Halloween Treats is the only jingle that is somewhat in my mind. Do you know Disney, their Halloween specials? No? Okay, I guess that's more for my generation or something. Used to show things like the Sleepy Hollow cartoon. They
Yeah.
did a cartoon version of that. They did sort of the dark part of Fantasia.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of other sort of just little cartoon bits that they would put together.
Well, I would say for a Halloween song then.
Yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed.
Don't do that. No, you can't joke like that. That's out of bounds.
Out of
Even for off the
bounds.
menu.
Okay. Fine. I can do this. Up the airy mountain and down the rushy glen, we daren't go a-hunting for fear of little men. Wee folk, good folk, troop it all together, green jacket, red cap, and white owl's feather. Up the craggy hillside, through the rushes bare, they have planted thorn trees for pleasure here and there. If any man should be so bold to pull them up in spite, he'll find the sharpest thorns in his bed at night.
That's interesting.
Is that a Halloween song?
That's getting there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Isn't it interesting that there aren't Halloween songs though for somewhat old cultural event? Don't you think?
Well, let me see.
You know?
See.
Isn't that interesting though?
I know. Well, Jackie the Lantern was a
No, Charles. No. Okay, well, if you're content with this, that's fine.
All right, fine. You want one? You want one?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We can do this. Oh. Waltzing Matilda is kind of a Halloween song.
I know. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, you are. Once a jolly swagman camped by a billabong under the shade of a coolabah tree. And he sang as he watched and he waited while his Billy boiled. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me. Waltzing Matilda, you'll come waltzing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and he waited while his Billy boiled. You'll come waltzing Matilda with me.
I've got a song that has a Halloween, a very strong Halloween context. It's actually the song I used a very early episode when we published Sean Leslie's Ghost book,
What
and
was it?
it was the Boogeyman. I actually made the entrance song the Boogeyman, the old
The original.
like from 1920s or something
Yeah.
like that. That has just this creepy sound. It's just this old timey sounding song. And the way it goes, like, hush, 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 here comes the boogeyman. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have heard it.
Yeah.
But I stick with Waltzing Matilda. You know why?
Why?
The last verse. Because as the song goes on, he captures a sheep, poaches it. Up comes the landowner
Yeah.
with the police.
Yeah.
They say, where is it? And then, this is the ghostly part.
Yeah.
Up jumped the swagman, jumped into the billabong. You'll never catch me alive, said he. Now his ghost may be heard as you ride past the billabong. You'll come a waltzing Matilda with me.
Okay.
And the last bit is sung very slow and sad.
I see. That's pretty creepy.
Is that creepy?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so that works.
There's a lot of creepy songs you don't think of as creepy. Lily Marlene,
I'm not familiar.
German song in World War II became popular with everybody, but the last verse is in English anyway. No more will you see her outside the barrack gate. 45 long years were too much for her to wait. But on her deathbed, She awoke. She saw him there, and then he spoke. Come with me, Lily Marlene. Come with me, Lily Marlene. Is that creepy?
It's interesting. Well, you know what's interesting is there are songs where the certain nature of the jingle itself, like you don't even need to hear the words, but you can tell, oh, well, this is a Christmas song. But with Halloween, what I'm getting at is like there's not this. It's hard to get this Halloween feel.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it's interesting.
Now don't try to hide or for a silly spook messing by your side. Shrouded in a mushroom shroud, they begin to terrorize when the ghosts begin to socialize. That's the chopped up version of the song from the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, interesting. I don't.
No?
Well, when you say the song from the Haunted Mansion, is that for the ride?
The ride, yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the song.
You have to go back.
I guess I do. All right. Anything else before we get started?
Yes. When you see us next, we will not be in the studio. We'll be back to the divided deal, you know, East and West Berlin. But don't you fret. We're going to ride out the election together. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum. On an old gray nag that ain't what she used to be.
Right. I know that. Yeah. I know how that goes.
So.
Okay.
All right. What do we got?
Let's see. David says, can Charles explain what the Polish National Catholic Church is and why it's in schism?
Yes.
And please do so.
Well, it's like this. After the Civil War, the American Civil War, there were a great many Catholic hierarchy, especially the Irish persuasion, who, given the fact that so many of the Catholic newcomers to America were foreigners from, that is to say, not Irish, but Italians, Germans, French Canadians, Poles, all sorts of things like that, that the church needed to become a means of Americanizing these weird foreigners. Well, one of the foremost proponents of this notion was the consecrated Blizzard of the Northwest, Archbishop John Ireland of St. Paul.
Did you say consecrated Blizzard?
That was the nickname for him.
Interesting, okay.
He had kind of a cold personality.
Oh, okay.
So, he was a great believer, as I say, in Americanization. He had been a Union chaplain during the Great War between the states. And so, he ended up causing not one but two schisms through trying to force non-Irish ethnics out of their customs. One was the Carpatho-Rusym schism, which sent a lot of Eastern Rite Catholics into Orthodoxy. But the other was the Polish National Catholic Church, headed by Father Francis Hodor, who was sent over from Poland, got into a fight with Ireland and some other bishop, ended up getting himself consecrated a bishop by the Archbishop of Utrecht, the old Catholic Archbishop. And so the Polish National Catholic Church became the only American member of the Union of Utrecht. Now, Hodor had some interesting ideas, but the church soldiered on, sent it in places like Pennsylvania. Scranton is their headquarters. And after Vatican II, they became rather friendlier with the Catholic Church, not least because the Polish element was becoming weaker in the children, But then in 1984, 84, 85, something like that, they established intercommunion with the Catholic Church. Under Benedict, they became a little bit closer, and they were instrumental when the old Catholic churches of Europe adopted the ordination and consecration of women. They were very, very prominent in giving orders and so forth to opponents of that idea. So they left the Union of Utrecht and founded the Union of Scranton, which includes the Polish National Catholic Church and little fragments of the old Catholic Church in Europe that refused to go along with the new idea.
Union of Utrecht sounds better. Union of Scranton doesn't have that same elevated feeling. Union of Scranton?
Excuse me, what state is your mother from?
I don't care. It's Scranton. Yeah, my mother's from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Great state.
Oh, how would you like the Union
Great
of Bethlehem?
The Union of Bethlehem? Well, obviously that has an entirely different. That name has entirely different context. And how about Union of Allentown?
That's Union of Shamokin.
Yeah. So.
All right, never mind.
The Union of Pittsburgh.
That sounds a little better than Scranton. I mean, you know what they say about Pennsylvania?
What?
That it is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh separated by Alabama.
I love that. You know, watch out, the knee slapping. You're gonna trigger some people out there.
Trigger. Sorry.
I wanted. You know, let's talk about nicknames for the clergy. So, Consecrated Blizzard. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. I'd say my favorite nickname of any clergyman that you've mentioned is definitely Dagger John.
Yeah, Dagger John Hughes.
That's epic. But why? You know, it's pretty rare. Why do you think no one really has a nickname other than perhaps the various ones that you give various people in a disrespectful manner? I feel like Dagger John is a nickname that was given out of respect.
Yeah, definitely. Respect and awe.
And awe, yeah, because he was so tough.
Yeah. He didn't take guff from the morons.
I feel like nicknames are cool, and we should come up with there should be more nicknames out there because it sort of elevates even more.
Not necessarily. I mean, imagine that you lived under a prelate whose name was Lewis. He didn't like him much, and you ended up calling him Lavender Lou. That would not be very...
Well, I guess it's on the nature of the nickname, yeah.
Yeah, that would not be very complimentary.
So is Consecrated Blizzard...
No, it was not complimentary.
That was not complimentary.
No, but he was not a good man. I mean, he was the author of 2 schisms, not just one.
Yeah.
Souls lost because he had to have it his way.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on the Consecrated Blizzard. What else we got?
My question. Question from Zenix, super fan,
hiding down there in Zagreb.
Says my question for Monsieur Coulombe is if he would please tell all on the history of the Catholic Church in Lithuania, with a focus on the efforts for the preservation of the Lithuanian language, while the nobility had abandoned it for Polish during the Commonwealth era, against Russification during the Tsardom, and against Bolshevikism during the USSR, for Lithuania to finally gain independence. As a majority Catholic Baltic country on the crossroads of Central, Eastern, and Northern Europe, what can we learn from it today? Are there any notable figures or organizations from its monarchist scene that you know of?
Well, Lithuania was the last country in continental Europe to become Christian. 1386, I think it was, when their Duke Mindaugas II converted. And his country converted with it. Now, one of his descendants, I forget which one, married the King of Poland. And the end result was that the Grand Dukes of Lithuania became kings of Poland. Before that, though, they had a great hero as Grand Duke, Vytautas the Great, who you'll still see on the flag. He was a great fellow. Lithuanian itself, incidentally, is not a Slavic language at all. It's related most close to the Latvian and to some strange languages out in Siberia.
Wow. That's a jump.
And Sanskrit.
Sanskrit?
Sanskrit.
How did that happen?
Well, because both Sanskrit and Lithuanian are part of the great Indo-European family of languages, to which almost all of the European languages belong, except Basque, Finnish, and Hungarian and Estonian. So supposedly they preserved Indo-European in its purest form.
Who's they?
The Lithuanians and the
okay.
Sanskrit speakers.
I see.
So the Lithuania during its several hundred years united with Poland saw most of its nobility Polonized, because of course Polish was the language of culture and everything else. Now, in 1775, most of Lithuania became part of Russia with the first partition of Poland. And there again, some of the nobility got Russified, a lot of them refused. And many of the nobility, including, oh gosh, the name came and went. Anyway, they became sort of Russified to a degree, although they didn't, as a rule, give up their religion and become Orthodox.
Mm.
After World War One, there was the Russian Civil War spilled into Lithuania, as in the other Baltic states. And then initially, the Central Powers wanted to establish Lithuania as an independent kingdom. So they had a Württemberger prince become King Mindaugas II.
Mm.
But it became apparent after the German defeat that that wasn't going to fly. So he left the country. And Lithuania became a republic. Between the wars, they had a very interesting leader named Antanas Smetona, who attempted to introduce distributism. Sorry, not distributism. Corporatism into Lithuania, like Dollfuss in Austria. But then came the Ribbentrop-Molotov Pact of 1940 or 39, and the Baltic states basically given up to Stalin. But the United States refused to recognize their incorporation into Russia. And so as soon as the wall fell, we began putting pressure on them to let Lithuania go. And today, it's an independent country. It's part of NATO. It has a fairly large army. And it's still quite Catholic. And that's all I have to say about Lithuania.
All right. Kyle says, greetings, Vincent and Charles. What is Charles's view of South Korean dictator Park Chung-hee? And what does Charles think of South Korea's president, Syngman Rhee? Or Rhee?
Rhee. Well, both of them were denounced as authoritarian figures. And of course, I've always had a little bit in for Syngman Rhee for not restoring the Korean monarchy, which he could have done when he came to power.
So these two are from different time periods, I'm assuming. Yeah. So
Syngman Rhee was the first president of South Korea, and he also held on during the Korean War.
When was that? Oh, the Korean War. So okay, so that's like 1950s.
Yeah, down to 1960 when I think he stepped down. Park was president when I was a teenager, and he was something of a dictator, something of an authoritarian. He didn't allow any kind of he didn't allow any kind of opposition whatsoever.
How did they jump from having a president to having a dictator?
Well, he just didn't leave power. That's all. He refused to call for new elections.
It's that simple.
Yeah. And then he was overthrown in a coup.
So any republic could potentially have a dictator.
Oh, sure. We had FDR.
Yeah. What's the definition of a dictator?
Someone who does whatever he likes without reference to the law.
Okay, he qualifies.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so... Okay, so, all right, another question for you. Also from Kyle, who says, "Dear Charles in charge, what is your view of King Alexander Nevsky in the Battle of Frozen Lake Papus, in which the Teutonic Knights were wiped out by the Russians? Do you consider the movie about Nevsky to be historically accurate?"
Well, I can't speak to the accuracy of the film. I know about it, of course. Eisenstein's big thing. Uh, but it was a sad battle. It ruined the Teutonic Knights for a long time. But it was a sad, sad thing because Christians ought not to fight one another,
Mm.
especially when they were as outnumbered as the Teutonic Knights were. And it's emblematic of seeing how in the East-West split, one side always blames the other, and so forth. There's never any forgiveness, you see,
Yeah.
on either side. So I would say it was a terrible crime, not just that they wiped out, but that they began the fight at all.
And they fought on a frozen lake?
Yeah,
That sounds like hell.
it was.
Why would you choose to fight on a frozen lake?
Because you'd be outflanking all of their defenses.
Hmm.
If you won.
Ugh. Okay. Helvicio says, I can understand. Oh, so we're going to totally change. So no more history stuff. We've got a lot of political questions coming up. Helvicio says, I can understand why President Trump might veto a bill which would nationalize an abortion ban. It'd be better if it were done as an amendment which would require 2/3 of the Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify it. I worry that there might be a lot of chaos if Trump signed a bill which narrowly passed the House and the Senate. Then again, I think it was 7 justices who pushed abortion on the whole country the last time, and Kamala is proposing reintroducing this evil into my state and others through an abortion mandate. What would it look like in California if the federal government passed a law banning abortion except in cases where the mother's life is at risk? There's a lot there. So, what do you think of Trump's vetoing a bill?
Well,
Yeah.
I have no use for him for that.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want me to say? He doesn't really have much of a moral compass or a doctrinal backing. So, you know, I had said that I would vote for him if Roe v. Wade were knocked down.
Yeah.
But now that he's come out as pro-abortion, I can't.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, I know there's all this talk about the double effect and all this kind of thing, whereby Catholics could feel good, or at least could semi-content in voting for him. If you can find your way to do it, fine. I can't, but that, nobody died and put me in charge. I will say, however, that it shows you where we are, that both sides have become pro-abort.
Yeah.
I missed something. Anyway, go ahead.
What do you think of Kamala Harris and her job as a politician? I thought it would wake you up. I thought, sleepy time, Charles. Let's get a question out there that really spices things up and really get the juices flowing.
What?
Okay. Is that your response?
No, I mean, come on. She's the only vice president or presidential candidate we've ever had with a sutra named after her.
Yeah, you've made that joke last episode.
Just saying. Love is always right.
All right, so what would California look like if the federal government passed that law banning abortion, except in cases where the mother's life is at risk? Would we secede from the Union?
No. But there'd be this.
I can see that. Yeah.
And then you'd have a whole bunch of moron celebrities say that if it wasn't repealed, they'd leave the country.
That's actually, yeah, Madonna was supposed to leave, I thought, when
A lot of them were.
a lot of them.
But you know what? Are you ready?
Ready.
If either one of those jokers is elected, I'll have already left the country. You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you've had enough, huh? Like a rat off a sinking ship.
Yeah.
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 No loyalty.
Au contraire, mon frère. I'm very loyal. Why do you think I'm wearing my party's tie?
Now you can just laugh at us from afar as you're just lollygagging in Austria.
Yeah, but I'll be home for Christmas. Just you wait and see.
Okay, well, it seems like okay. Well, that's good enough for now.
Look, just please have snow and mistletoe and presents under the tree. Because you know what, Vinny? Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, and not just in my dreams.
All right.
You don't seem impressed.
It's nice to have you home for Christmas so that, we get to see you every now and again.
Yeah. We might be able to do a Christmas show this year.
Yeah, Christmas shows are nice. Always fun. Yeah.
With it on Christmas Eve.
Speaking of, actually, those special questions, I know it's early. Usually we get more of these, I remember when we started up this show, we were getting Halloween-type questions year-round, it seemed. That isn't so much the case now, but for that Halloween episode, start sending in those questions. You guys think of something weird or interesting, send them in. Obviously, we really like to go hard on the Halloween episode as well.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I'm breaking the wall.
The fourth wall.
The fourth wall.
Well, no, actually, I was thinking I was doing a mime.
Oh,
the invisible wall.
The invisible wall.
What's wrong with miming?
Nothing's wrong with miming. I mean, it's very old school. I don't know if Gen Z would understand what you're even doing, but
no, there's that.
Yeah.
No, but yes, think of your Halloween questions and your Christmas questions.
Yes, those two.
We're it's early, but we're going to be like your local Rite Aid and your CVS, and we're putting out the Halloween and Christmas decorations and Thanksgiving. You want to get in those questions about turkeys and Puritans. I'm ready and willing.
Nice. Dylan says, shouldn't pro-lifers be making the case more that preborn children have a right to the care and resources derived in gestation? It is a universal biological need that is intrinsic to our human nature. Other than perhaps Trent Horn and Stephanie Gray, I don't really see other pro-life apologists making this argument.
It's a very good one, and the whole point of saying preborn rather than unborn, number one. Number two, of linking the support that parents are obligated under the law to give their children during their childhood to the support a mother gives her infant during gestation. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. All right, one final question. Boy, we've kind of done this topsy-turvy thing where the pre-show is longer than the full episode. I know Philip asked me that. He's like, has this ever happened before? I said,
not often.
Maybe. Probably never happened before. Probably never happened before. I don't think it's happened before, but we're getting close to it happening for 2 times in a row.
You're right. But that's because we've had time constraints.
Well, that is true.
Because I'm leaving on a jet plane. Did I tell you that?
Yes.
Did I tell you where I'm going?
Go on.
The old continent. Wien, Wien, nur du allein.
Yes.
Wien, Wien, Vienna, Vienna, only you alone.
Some might say Vienna waits for you. Oh, that I feel like I just won.
Yes.
I feel
Yes.
like I just won. If I'm able to something, if
Yes.
that Billy Joel song is just waiting there to be
Yes,
snatched up.
not unlike Vienna itself. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. You know, yeah, I can't argue with that. I really can't argue with that. You know, but I can say that Heinrich and Anna were the popular steadies of the King and the Queen of the Ball.
That doesn't quite.
No, it doesn't.
It's a little culture clash there.
Franzl and Maria. Have you heard about Franzl and Maria? Two Austrian kids growing up in the Burgenland. No?
No, I haven't heard of them. All right, final question is from William. It says, my question is for Charles. Does the church demand we vote when the candidates are both pro-choice? Not to mention pro-LGBTQ, or at least LGBTQ friendly, and they both seem to be pro-unjust war. Is a Catholic still bound to vote? Should we vote for a candidate that is pro-choice, LGBTQ friendly, and seems to be willing to engage in unjust wars? Or should we simply sit this election out? It seems like if the Republican candidate were to run as a Dem, he would not even be an option. What would the church say?
Well, some setting aside the whole lesser of two evils thing, which is not really a Catholic teaching at all. What people are thinking of when they talk about that, they mean what's called the rule of double effect, which, first and foremost, I'm going to say, I can only speak for myself. I really and truly do not blame anyone whose prudential judgments differ from mine. All right? Because we're all stuck with a situation we did not create, we did not choose, we did not want. So it's hardly for me to set down what I'm going to do as the example that everyone has to follow. It's what I understand I have to do. You may be in a totally different place, you may see things differently, and this is not an area where I certainly have any authority to make any judgments for someone else. So, having said all that, some people are falling onto the double effect, which would allow them to vote for one or the other of the two scumbags. Okay.
Falling under the double effect? The double effect of what? Sorry, I didn't follow.
The double effect, basically, it's very involved. But it's like when you're trying to save a mother's life through a course that will have the secondary effect of killing the child.
Oh.
But that's not the primary reason you're doing it.
Oh, I see.
I'm not very comfortable with it, but it's an argument that's made and has been for many, many years. There's that, and I'm not comfortable with it. There's not voting at all, but again, there are a lot of other seats and things to be voted for. Depending on where you live, there may even be real important stuff like local elections.
Yeah.
So I certainly, and the church I don't think would blame anyone who did not vote and sat the election out.
Right.
But for myself, I look at it this way: I can't vote for a pro-abortion candidate, and I can't vote for I'm not comfortable with the double effect theory. Again, I'm not saying it's wrong, because again, I'm not in a position to, and the church has tolerated it. So, I can't tell you something is wrong that the church has tolerated for a long time. I can't do that. I can tell you, I personally am just not able to deal. So of going the route of the third party. Now, my brother and I have a little bit of a difference on this in that he's going to vote Constitution Party, although he acknowledges that there's a lot of anti-Catholicism in the Constitution Party. Evangelical Protestants. I'll vote American Solidarity Party, even though I've got some problems with both their immigration and their what's the other one? Immigration. Oh, and the death penalty. But neither of those, for me, in terms of the Solidarity Party, or my brother in terms of the Constitution Party, outweigh the fact that they're pro-life.
Mm.
So I may disagree with them on these other things, but that really is the top issue for me.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, it's a tough call. I wish people would think more about just all other aspects. Everyone just seems to be worried so much about the election, and it's understandable, but this time of year is just always frustrating for me because everyone gets so riled up all the time. It's like we know we're going to go through this. Okay, let's everybody yell at each other online. Let's yell at all the people. Let's yell at all the people saying all the silly things.
And then wonder why we look stupid later. You know, especially, do you remember in 2016, there was a group of people talking about God Emperor Trump?
Yeah, I remember that because it's hysterical. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I thought it was silly then, but in the light of now,
yeah,
it's like, okay, gang, where are the God Emperor Trump people? We need you guys to come up and set us straight. You come right on out of the woodwork, come back from Arrakis or Caladan or wherever you put yourselves. Come on back here to planet Earth and let us know what the deal is. When is the God Emperor Trump going to reveal himself? Oh, and then what about QAnon? Trust the plan.
What about QAnon?
Trust the plan.
What does QAnon have to do with trust the plan?
Well, that was their motto.
Was it?
Yes. Q declared that Trump had this plan, and basically everything was going to be great. All the bad guys would be gotten rid of, and goodness and niceness of the American way would reign forever.
So, is QAnon still a thing? I mean, obviously it hurts, right? I mean, it's almost like a sort of prophecy thing, but then you know, the prophecy is it's supposed to happen on this date, and then everything's supposed to change, but then that date elapses.
Okay, so then, what are you saying?
Well, I'm saying I'm saying QAnon is a false prophet. Dude, I wonder if someone is actually going to get mad at me out there. I don't really care.
Trust the plan.
I don't really care. Dude, there might be people who get mad at me out there.
Oh, I'm sure. How can you say anything against Trump when Kamala is so awful? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you know, we're so far from anything decent. It's tough. However, in good King Charles's golden days, when loyalty no harm meant, furious high churchman was I, and so I gained preferment. Unto my flock I taught each day, kings are by God appointed, and damned are those that dare resist or touch the Lord's anointed. And this is law I shall maintain until my dying day, sir, that whatsoever king may reign, I will be vicar of Bray, sir.
This is one of the longest songs. I'm gonna cut you off there because this is like one of the longest songs I've encountered.
But it's a wonderful song.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll tell you what. Let me just do the last two verses.
Okay, do the last two verses.
The last two verses are wonderful because although we don't have the monarchy, we don't have, very few of us, I think, are actually vicars of Anglican churches in England. Very
Yeah.
few of us.
Yeah.
But I think the spirit remains very strongly with us.
Yes.
And it really, it's wonderful. It ends to this. Not the Vicar of Bragg. Here we go, Vicar of Bray lyrics. Let me see. Here you go. The last of them. The illustrious house of Hanover and Protestant succession, to these I do allegiance swear, while they can hold possession. For in my faith and loyalty I never more will falter, and George my lawful king shall be, unless the times do alter.
Yep. Very fair weather.
A fair weather friend.
Yeah.
Who would you rather go yachting with?
What are my choices? Wait, what? Okay.
A fair weather friend. You're going yachting.
Yeah.
Would you rather have a fair weather friend or a Debbie Downer?
Fair weather friend.
Of course.
Well, you rigged the game with a Debbie Downer. Who chooses Debbie? What do you have to be to choose Debbie Downer?
Well, she might be loyal
though. Loyal Debbie Downer?
Yeah, she's loyal. I mean, she's annoying.
Well, maybe I don't want her to be loyal then. If she's a Debbie Downer, like that's bad. Then that's like a double whammy.
It is. But she's very loyal, and of course, just because she's a Downer doesn't always mean she's wrong. Yeah, you see that guy over there with the knife that's creeping toward you? I think he's going to hurt you. I don't think he means well by you. You got to spoil everything, don't you, Debbie? I'm having a great day. Yeah, he's halfway here. You might want to turn and look and maybe do something. Debbie, leave it alone. Ah! Does that hurt? Debbie Downer and the Vicar of Bray, the fun couple of the 2020s.
Wow, that's a pairing.
It's like Ovaltine and Chateaubriand.
You know what just remind me of, Charles?
What's that?
Good old fashioned tequila and Ovaltine by Charles Coulot, recommended. We got that in the Wikipedia. We got that in Charles's Wikipedia because you were being ridiculous one show, and you were recommending Ovaltine and tequila as this classic mix. And so I was like, okay, there has to be consequences to this. So it lived on your Wikipedia page for a while.
Really?
Yeah, yes it did. I made sure of it. I personally injected it. Tequila, good old fashioned tequila and Ovaltine.
You see, this is what I have to put up with, ladies and gentlemen. It's tough being a professional victim. Well, listen, the time has come, so I'm going to ask you a question.
The time has come, the walrus said.
To speak of many things.
Of
ships and socks and sealing wax.
Of cabbages and kings.
Of whether the sea is boiling hot.
I don't know the rest.
And whether pigs have wings.
Ah, there we go.
They do, by the way.
All right, any closing thoughts, Charles?
Yes, indeed. Once again, Richard O'Brien, in his timeless work, The Rocky Horror Show, gives advice that I want you all to listen closely to while you're contemplating both the upcoming election, the papal comments. We haven't said anything about them today, but his word to the children of Singapore that all paths lead to God, it almost sounds like he's telling us we can ignore him safely and don't have to care about him anymore. He couldn't mean that, could he? So when this sort of thing happens, Only these words will bring you any strength. Are you ready? Stay sane inside insanity.
I feel like that's the show's motto. Like we've adopted that as our motto. I feel like all the really hardcore fans, all you super fans out there, that's sort of like, it's like the connection.
You know, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Because in a certain sense, the spirit of the show was forged during the dark days of COVID.
Yeah.
You remember, we did all sorts of notes from people thanking us for helping them keep sane. And I think it was sometime around there that it hit me. I said, hey, listen to me, stay sane inside insanity. But he locked the door and threw away the key.
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult for me to actually sing as a young girl would sing.
I could see that.
No.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, Leslie Gore was not my idol. I mean, I enjoyed her music.
Yeah.
But, you know, Johnny get angry, Johnny get mad. Give me the biggest lecture that I've ever had. I need a brave man. I need a caveman.
Yeah.
I mean, the lyrics don't appeal to me in that sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd like a girl like that. I mean, she'd be kind of a doormat.
I think so. Well, I guess so. Yeah, doormats, not so fun.
No.
Yeah.
No,
So.
no. On the other hand, when I was young, I asked my father, why can't we pair off the wife beaters and the shrews with the doormats and the milk toasts?
Yeah, that's so weird. They just don't pair up. That would be great that would be God's divine justice raining down.
Wouldn't it? Of course, you'd have difficulty as a guest in either house. Because if you're with wife beater and shrew, you know, they're not looking after their guests. They're breaking chairs over each other's heads. They're punching one another. So she's going after him with the frying pan. You know, he's taking a fist to her. And so it goes. And you're sitting there watching this carnage. Like, please get me out of here, God. That's bad enough. But then you're at the other house. What should we have for dinner, dear? Oh, I don't know, dear. What would you like? I don't know, dear. Whatever you want. I don't know, dearest. Now,
I think I would choose the first house.
Well, I think you'd be physically safer in the second house, but
I think the first house would be more entertaining.
That is true. It would be more entertaining. But as I say, physically, the second house would probably be safer.
Yes.
Maybe we should ask our guest what he wants. It's okay, guys.
But I have a question for you. What is it if it's Monday?
Off the menu.
But what about the soul you save?
Maybe. Your own.
See you next time, everyone.
God bless. 2 weeks hence, remember, I'll be praying for you all in Denmark.